The bus hissed and pulled away, leaving behind a silence so sharp it made Daniel Harper stop mid-step. On the metal bench at the edge of the station sat a small figure who hadn't moved when everyone else rushed forward. A girl no older than 12. Her hands folded neatly in her lap, her eyes open but unfocused. At her feet lay a thin cloth bag and a white cane, its tip resting against the curb like a question no one wanted to answer. Daniel watched for a second, then another. The afternoon crowd thinned. The wind pushed a crumpled receipt across the pavement. Still, the girl didn't move. "Hey," Daniel said gently, approaching. "Your bus already left." The girl turned her face toward his voice, a soft, practiced smile touching her lips. "I know," she replied. "They told me to wait." Something about the calm in her voice unsettled him. Daniel was a single father of 2, juggling construction shifts, school pickups, and a constant ache of worry he rarely admitted. He had learned to keep moving, to not look too long at things he couldn't fix. But as he stood there, keys dangling from his fingers, he felt that old instinct, one he tried to ignore, tighten in his chest. "Who told you to wait?" he asked. "My aunt," the girl said. "She said she'd come back." Daniel glanced at the empty road. "How long ago?" The girl tilted her head, thinking. "A while. I don't see time very well." That sentence landed hard. Daniel crouched to her level. "What's your name?" "Lena." "Lena, do you know where your aunt went?" "She said she needed to get something." Lena's fingers tightened around the strap of her bag. "She said I'd be safer here." Daniel's throat went dry. He had seen this before. Maybe not exactly like this, but close enough. People leaving things behind. Or people. "You're blind, right?" he asked carefully. "Yes," Lena said, without shame or sadness. "Since I was born." Daniel straightened, scanning the station. A security guard leaned against a wall, scrolling on his phone. Travelers hurried past, eyes fixed ahead. The world was moving, as it always did, and Lena was still. "Have you eaten today?" Daniel asked. "Not yet, but that's okay. I'm used to it." That did it. Daniel sighed, the kind of sigh that comes from a place deeper than fatigue. "All right," he said. "Let's not wait here anymore." Lena's face tightened. "She said not to go with strangers." Daniel nodded. "That's good advice. So here's what we'll do. We'll go talk to the station office together. Public place. You stay in control." After a moment, she reached out, her hand brushing his sleeve, searching. Daniel let her find his arm. Inside the office, the truth began to crack open. The clerk made calls. The security guard checked footage. Minutes turned heavy. "There's no record of an aunt traveling with her," the clerk said quietly. "No return ticket. No contact information." Daniel watched Lena sit perfectly still, listening, absorbing. She didn't cry. She didn't ask questions. She just waited. And suddenly Daniel understood. She had been waiting for a long time. Not just today, but her whole life. Child services were called. While they waited, Daniel bought Lena a sandwich and juice. She ate slowly, politely, like someone afraid to take up space. "My kids would like you," Daniel said, trying to lighten the air. "They talk a lot." "I like listening," Lena said. "It helps me imagine faces." That night, Daniel went home to his small apartment in Portland with Lena's calm voice echoing in his head. His son Noah complained about homework. His daughter Ellie asked what was for dinner. Life went on. But Daniel couldn't sleep. 3 days later, he learned Lena's full story. She'd been passed between relatives since her parents died in a car accident years earlier. Her blindness made her too much work. The aunt at the bus stop had been the last option. And now, there were no more numbers to call. "She'll be placed in temporary care," the caseworker said. "Possibly moved between homes." Daniel felt something crack open inside him. He remembered Noah at 5, clinging to his leg the night Daniel's wife left, the fear of not knowing who would stay. "What if," Daniel said slowly, "what if she stayed with us? Just for a bit?" The caseworker studied him. "It won't be easy." Daniel almost laughed. "Nothing ever is." Lena arrived at their apartment with one bag and a cane. Ellie immediately rearranged her room to make space. Noah asked 100 questions. Lena answered them patiently, turning her face toward each voice, memorizing the rhythm of their laughter. The first weeks were hard. Lena struggled with new sounds, new routines. Daniel struggled with guilt. Guilt for getting frustrated, guilt for wondering if he was in over his head. Bills stacked up. His hours were cut. He worried constantly. One evening, after a long day, Daniel found Lena sitting alone on the couch, her hands folded just like the bus stop. "You okay?" he asked. "I heard you arguing on the phone," Lena said softly. "About money." Daniel rubbed his face.
I'm sorry.
"You shouldn't have to hear that." Lena shook her head. "I'm used to hearing problems. People think I don't notice things because I can't see." Daniel sat beside her. "What do you notice?" She turned toward him. "That you're tired, that you try very hard, and that you didn't leave me." The words hit harder than any accusation. Weeks turned into months. Lena started school with support services. She learned the layout of the apartment by heart. She helped Ellie with reading by listening. She learned to cook simple meals, counting steps, trusting sounds. Then came the letter, permanent placement review. Daniel's hands shook as he read it. The agency needed to decide Lena's future. Adoption was possible, but only if Daniel could prove long-term stability. That night, Daniel sat alone at the kitchen table, staring at numbers he couldn't make work. "I can help," Lena said from the doorway. Daniel turned. "You already do." "No," she said gently. "I mean really help." She told him about the audio stories she recorded, short, heartfelt narrations she'd been posting online through a school program. People listened. Some donated. Daniel was stunned. "You did all that on your own?" Lena smiled. "I wanted to feel useful. I didn't want to be someone people leave." Something inside Daniel broke and healed at the same time. The review day came. The caseworker spoke about Daniel's effort, the children's bond, Lena's progress. Then Lena was asked if she wanted to say anything. She stood, cane steady in her hand. "I was left at a bus stop because someone thought I was a burden," she said, her voice clear. "This family taught me I'm not. I don't need perfect. I just need people who stay." Silence filled the room. When the approval came through, Daniel didn't cry until he got home. He knelt in the hallway, covering his face, while 3 small arms wrapped around him. Years later, Daniel would still remember that bus stop, the hiss of the bus, the quiet bench, the girl who waited, and he would know the truth that stunned him that day wasn't about abandonment at all. That it was about how one choice, to stop, to listen, to stay, can change the direction of many lives. Sometimes, the strongest families aren't born, they're found.